Reid, Las Vegas is reeling in the AFC West race, but you knew that already. Now they're in Kansas City, the same Kansas City team that smoked them back in Week 10. Over or under 47.5 points here, Fowler?
I'm just going to say push so Pearce doesn't come at me for my nice job and my integrity as an analyst. But no, it's just hard to say, right? Waller being questionable, he went from week to week to being day to day. Who knows what this offense can do with the Raiders, right? They don't have their field stretcher. Deshaun Jackson is fine. But when you have Hunter Renfrow, no Kenyon Drake, I don't think Kenyon Drake wasn't doing anything. But when your offense is Josh Jacobs and Hunter Renfrow and potentially a guy like Foster Moreau, that doesn't give me a lot of hope for the Raiders offense whatsoever, right? Like, they put up 15 points against, I guess, the best team in the NFL and the Washington football team. So, like, I just don't see it with the Raiders. I really don't. Kansas City, I think, is going to blow them out. Again, this kind of harkens back to what I felt about Dallas and the Washington football team, but the Washington football team is better than the Raiders right now. So I'm going to say under.
Okay, Geoff, what do you want to say here? Reid mentioned all the injuries. We don't know if Darren Waller's going to play. And while the defense for the Chiefs is giving up yards, they rank 8th now in NFL in points allowed.
Yeah, it's a good point. And again, these are two teams who have not been good in the red zone this year. I mean, Vegas is right down there with Washington, and now they might be still without their best red zone target and Darren Waller. It's not really a good recipe for a team that can't run the ball, right? And as much as I want to take the over here and just be like Kansas City probably comes in here, blows out, a poor or an eroding, Vegas defense, that's just not the way they've been playing. Like, they get up and then they just play defensively. They rely on their special teams. I think you got to go under here. And I think at 48.5, the total really does look way too big. This seems like just way mispriced for me. And I think it's got, again, that perception working in that the Chiefs are this high explosive offense. You got to always take the over. This is way too low. And people still betting it. And I just think that's a wrong mentality right now. I think this game could go down 46.5 before I'd even start to think about the over. So I have to really like the under again in the spot.
Okay, Pearce, what are the chances, though, the Chiefs are out for maybe some revenge after the Raiders upset them in Kansas City last year, and that was 40-32.
Yeah, I would hate to play the narrative and the gut feeling, and typically I'm on here hammering the under for the Chiefs and how poorly they played this season, but there's just something missing this week. I do not feel comfortable whatsoever taking the under in this game. It has nothing to do with the Raiders, which Reid's already pretty much piled on them enough so far in the segment, which has been great to hear him hammer his own team a couple times. But they're bad. Josh Jacobs, 3.8 yards per carry. That's 40th in football. The offensive line is 5th in adjusted rushing yards for the running backs. They're just not getting it done. They're without Waller. But it really has nothing to do with Las Vegas. It's just Kansas City. The only time that they've gone over this season or in recent memory, was against Las Vegas. And you look at this season, it's hard to find some stats that make you want to take the over. But you look at the last 3 years worth of data and you say, yeah, you take Kansas City, you take the over. They're going to figure it out at some point. I hate that narrative, but I feel like this is a week where Kansas City finally gets it rolling, and I'll be the sucker that takes the over.